What is up, YouTube? We're back with another YouTube video, and we're here with a guide for the Legend Lost Sector Perdition, and we're here on, I almost said Neptune, Europa actually. So when you look at destinations, go to your left, and on the middle side here, you can go to this node, and you can either spawn down here and go up towards the Camadis Ridge, or you can spawn in Eventide Ruins and go straight down. However you do it, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to spawn up here. And now we're just gonna drive all the way over there. Now let's just keep going this way. And it shouldn't take too long to get there. It looks like it's far, but it's really not. Maybe if you were walking that distance, but obviously just use your Sparrow. Now as we make our way towards this area, you can see we're already loaded into the new zone. And it's going to be over here to our left. So let's just make this turn. And now you can see there's this little cave area. There's the Lost Sector icon right here. And here's the flag. If you don't see this flag here and you don't see the icon on your map, that means you have to go through this tunnel here to start the Lost Sector normally. And then you would have to... Oh, that's not good. Oh, okay, I'm still alive. So you just go back up here, and then once you reach the new zone, it'll tell you Perdition, Lost Sector, discovered. Then you go kill all the ads, you'll go and kill the boss at the end and loot the chest, and you'll unlock Legend and Master Lost Sector. So you can see this is the Lost Sector. Just keep going this way, and then eventually kill the boss, like I said, loot the chest, and you'll unlock Legend and Master Lost Sectors for this Lost Sector. So now we're going to work our way back over here so we can get to the modifiers that are active for today. So you can see we're going back this way. And now let's go up to the flag and see what modifiers we have. So here we have shielded foes. You'll face combatants with arc and void shields. You'll have locked loadout, extra shields, equipment locked. And we have limited revives. Barrier and overload champions. We have arc threat, 25% increase to incoming arc damage. This is damage the enemies do. Shocker, when defeated, goblins spawn arc pools that cause damage over time. Overcharged weapons. Weapon overcharges from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. And kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Solar Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing solar damage, and Strand Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing strand damage. This is damage that we do. And Overcharged Fusion Rifle, 25% bonus to fusion rifle damage. If completed, solo exotic leg armor is rare, enhancement core is uncommon, and recommended power is 1830, but 1815 and above should be just fine. So with all of this being said, we're going to go into the loadout, and then we'll get into the gameplay. So here's the loadout that I ended up using. I used Solar Subclass with Blade Barrage because of the Solar Burn with Marksman Dodge, Triple Jump, Knife Trick, Incendiary Grenades on your mark and knock them down. We have Ember of Searing, Ember of Blistering, Ember of Combustion, Ember of Char, and Ember of Wonder. Then in terms of weapons, I just used Barrier Pulse Rifle because that's the only thing you have this season. I mean, you do have sidearms, but I like Pulse Rifles more because you have more range and stuff like that. And generally in this Lost Sector stuff, I'm not at the light level where I'm gonna be running into champions like trying to, get in their face and stuff. I still want to stay at a distance, so instead of using sidearms, I'm using Barrier Pulse Rifle. And I really recommend using Kinetic Tremors as a perk if you can get it on this Battle Scar. I recommend saving a roll, because with something like Peace of Mind that I was using trying loadouts before recording, is Kinetic Tremors just helps with the AoE damage around whatever you're hitting crits on, but also just, I feel like, makes, the weapon a little more useful in general, because while I was using things like Overflow and Vorpal, I still found myself taking a lot more damage and stuff like that. But when you have that Kinetic Tremors, tremor effect that pretty much shakes the enemy and it staggers them and everything, it allows you to do more damage instead of them being stationary, not being staggered and everything. So that's why I'm running a Battle Scar Pulse Rifle for Barrier Pulse Rifle. Then in my secondary, I have this auto rifle, and it's not really the best. I was thinking of using this, the Dark Decider from Iron Banner that passed by a couple weeks ago, because it's arc and we have arc shields, but then I also remember the solar burn and I want to take advantage of the solar burn. So this is what I ended up using with incandescent on it. But use whatever overload weapon you want to use. You can use a bow, but when it comes to overload champions, I mainly use Thunderlord as my exotic heavy slot because it has overload rounds on it as well. But just in case of, let's say you're out of heavy and you need to stun an overload, you can use your auto rifle / SMG or a bow, but I just went with the auto rifle. So that's my thought process with that. And like I mentioned, Thunderlord, really good. If you have the catalyst, I highly recommend getting it because, as you can see, causing a lightning strike with this weapon partially reloads the magazine from reserves, and you can get that by constantly hitting crits and stuff like that. It's really easy to activate. You don't really have to do much, so again, I highly recommend going after that. But then when it comes to armor, everything's the same, ashes to assets. I'm running Solar Siphon and Arc Siphon because we really want, when we pick up orbs, we want the arc and solar weapons to be generating them. So, you know, these are my two main weapons. Yes, I'll be getting kills with the pulse rifle, but that won't generate orbs because it's kinetic. But if I were to get a couple kills with the solar and my heavy, I want to generate those orbs because, again, one is solar and one is arc. In terms of what I got here, firepower, your grenade final blows create orbs of power. And then grenade kickstart is when your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. I have 2 of those on. And then when it comes to my chest piece, I just have charged up twice, and this increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. And then for my exotic slot, I'm running Star Eater scales on my legs, and this has Feast of Light where you can overcharge your super to ×4. So if you pick up 4 orbs when your super is charged up, you can get Feast of Light, and this just helps you do extra super damage. With the solar buff, you pretty much one-shot the boss, and then you can just deal it with the ads and stuff like that. But I have better already. Your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an orb of power. And solar weapon surge and arc weapon surge. And again, solar weapon surge because I'm running a solar weapon here, and arc weapon surge because Thunderlord. Now, these weapon surges are important because as you read, it says your solar weapon gains small bonus to damage while you have an armor charge. Now, with all the noise in the background aside, this is very important because it kind of gives you that buff to your weapons to do a little extra more damage. So, for example, at the start of the Lost Sector, there's a Hydra, right? And if I kill those enemies at the start, those red health bars, they're going to drop me some orbs. I'm going to get orbs by breaking the arc shields. I already have a good amount of orbs. I have armor charges. That's going to give me a boost on top of the damage that this already does. And Thunderlord does a lot of good DPS already. So now that you're adding more DPS with orbs, you're going to be doing even more. That way you're killing things faster and everything like that. So that's really helpful. And then just for the solar weapon, you can pretty much choose in between which one really. If you don't find yourself using this a whole lot, then you can use the kinetic weapon siphon or weapon surge, I should say, instead of solar. But that's completely up to you depending on what your playstyle is and which weapon you prefer to use. So that's going to be my explanation for the leg armor. And then lastly on the cloak, I have 2 time dilation mods, and your decaying armor charge has a longer duration. So again, we're picking up these orbs and we're trying to get the most out of them. We're trying to extend its duration or make it last just a bit longer. And Bomber, which reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. So that's everything that I got there. Lastly, I do want to show my artifact here, and the main thing I would recommend if you can bring in here is Shatter Orbs. And the first time you break a combatant shield, you create an orb of power if you break the shield with the matching damage type. And just in case you're curious, that is unlocked literally on the 3rd row right here at the top one. And this is really useful, especially for all the arc shields that you're going to run into. There's a lot at the start of the Lost Sector, and then towards the end of the Lost Sector, there's going to be orbs and stuff. So you have a lot of opportunity to become overcharged and stuff like that when it comes to weapon surges. So keep that in mind, and then you get that weapon boost. So that's the build. That's everything that I'm running. Now let's just get to the gameplay. Alright, so now that we started, you're going to see here we have pretty much arc shielded harpies, and we have this Hydra that's going to be annoying and just shooting at you this whole time. So what I recommend is just taking out Thunderlord. If you can, pick up some orbs so so you can get that arc weapon boost and then do some extra damage on top of the heavy weapon damage that Thunderlord already does, and try to get rid of the the Hydra. God, this is so annoying, man. I'm telling you, I hate this lost sector. I'll just go out and say it right now. I do not like this lost sector. You can see we got a Minotaur that we're gonna get rid of right here. And now the Hydra's gonna move on to the second room. That's kind of why I would recommend to get rid of it now, but I'm gonna just use my super. And let's try to stun this guy one more time. Usually I would just melt him with my Thunderlord, but I just figured to use super there. But if you still have Thunderlord ammo, which I hope you do, then just use it on that Overload champion. But we're going to have another Overload champion soon, so I'm going to try to use Thunderlord obviously on that. Just throw a nade here. And there's our Overload. I'm going to let him get a little closer, because if I stun him there, there's going to be barrier champions and stuff that are going to try to shoot at me from a distance. So here you can see easy clap right there. Just got a bunch of enemies here. Now let's just get rid of those. And now you can see the Hydra's back. He's thinking that he's doing something. Literally the worst part of this lost sector is this guy and wyverns that are going to end up spawning. I don't know what Bungie was smoking when they thought that they should add this to the rotation, but cool. Let's just get rid of this group that's going to spawn right here real quick. We're also going to have those wyverns like I mentioned, and I absolutely hate wyvern enemies. I'm going to back up and just kind of get rid of this. There we go. I'm just gonna start doing some damage to this barrier champion because I'm not gonna wait for them to spawn. Just take advantage of that. You can use Thunderlord, but I'm gonna try to save it because those wyvern enemies, I could just shred them a little bit with Thunderlord. And I got a barrier pulse rifle, so it's not like I can't stun this guy. And that champion's down. I'm just gonna peek this side real quick, and as you advance you're gonna hear that noise. I'm pretty sure they spawn. Yeah, they're spawning in right now. I got more heavy, so I might just use it against them, to be honest. Let's just take a look real quick. Here's one. You can see the crit right there when you stagger him. It's pretty annoying because obviously if you don't have a weapon that can stagger, then you're pretty much screwed. So I'm gonna just try to do that again. There we go. So now that we've gotten rid of the two wyverns, everything else should be relatively easy to do. But because Bungie likes to have enemies do some increased damage now, you're just gonna have to go in and out of battle. Keep that in mind. Obviously if you're trying to do this flawless, you don't want to die, so that's why I recommend just play it safe. Here you can see, look at it. Okay, game. It would be nice if you could. There we go. I'm gonna stun them, do some damage. I'm gonna throw this nade. Keep doing this. Are you serious? There we go. And now once you make it past here, it's pretty much the end of the lost sector. Just gonna get ads to spawn, and this guy, I'm gonna just generate some orbs so I can overcharge my super by getting kills with Thunderlord. Just be careful, because remember, the enemies are gonna spawn arc pools when defeated. But now that I have Feast of Light times 4, I'm just gonna shred that guy. And now you're just gonna have more ads spawn. Don't even worry about them. Just use Thunderlord if you still have ammo. You can see this is just literally easy. And that is a good 5. Okay, it's basically like a 5-minute 30-second run. I do want to note, not a fan of this lost sector. If you have to grind this, let's say this is your only chance today, I feel bad for you. Hopefully you end up getting your exotic first try, because I would never grind this lost sector, not even if it was the last day. But 5 minutes and 30 seconds, that's how much I took to do it. If you were a little more optimized and stuff, if maybe you had ways to generate more heavy, then you can probably use Thunderlord the whole time. But that's just the build that I put together. So like, comment, subscribe, drop a follow on my Twitch, twitch.tv/MonkeySham0. Ring the bell so you don't miss another video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.